Today I'm going to be going over 3 financial goals that everyone should want to achieve in 2020. These goals are for people who may be struggling with their personal finances, might be in the financial position right now to be investing large sums of money each month. That's okay, where you'll get there, and that's why I created these goals. They're nothing specific, they're nothing too complicated, they're very basic, but they're 3 fundamental goals you'll want to achieve to have great personal finances within 2020. So I'm Gen Z Investor, and on this channel we talk about investing, personal finance, and I track my personal portfolio growth. I'm a long-term investor, and that's what this channel focuses on. So the first financial goal that we want to achieve in 2020 is we want everyone to create a personal budget. So I'm not giving you a template, I'm not showing you what your budget should be like because everyone's situation is different. A personal budget is unique to you and meets your specific needs. No one's budget will be the same. It just doesn't work like that. Everyone will have different money allocated to different things. Everyone has different interests, different needs, different wants, and that's okay. So you have to make your own personal budget. So to do that, it doesn't have to get too complicated. Pen and paper, sit down at your kitchen table, write down all your fixed expenses and how much they cost each month. So these are the things that no matter what, the bills you have to pay each month. So it could be things like rent, utilities, your grocery bill. Those are the things that you have to pay no matter what in order to keep living the life you have. Write those down, put how much the amount is beside it. Next, take a look at your credit card statements, your debit statements. For the last couple months, 2 to 4 months, whatever you want to look at, you can easily do that online and see what you're spending money on for fun, for entertainment, those unnecessary things that you are spending money on. Because we all do it, everyone does it, and that's okay. You have to have fun, you have to live your life, you have to buy things you want. But write down all those items on the list below your fixed expenses. You can skip a line, make a new title. These are going to be called your flexible expenses. These are the expenses that you can eliminate if you choose to. Things such as eating out, buying new clothes, upgrading your phone when you don't really need to because your phone still works, stuff like that. These are the flexible expenses that you can eliminate if need be. Write those down for the past 2 to 3 months. Figure out how much you're spending on average each month. Write those below. Next, this is going to be kind of different. Once you choose to eliminate what expenses you can eliminate from your flexible expenses, you have to create a savings goal each month. We'll get into that a bit later, but you have to create a set amount of money each month and treat it like a fixed expense, such as $100 a month, just say to begin. Every month, you're going to invest and save for retirement or for your future $100 a month. You will never spend it, no matter what. You're not going to overspend and say, oh, I can't invest this month. You're going to treat it as if it's a fixed bill, just like it's rent. Treat it as if your landlord increased your rent $100 each month, and then save that money away into whatever account, a high interest saving account, a general saving account, anything. Put that money away each month, set it, and forget it. Just put it there, treat it like a bill. Then, so now that you have all your expenses written out, your necessary and your flexible, right at the top of the page, how much money you make. Most people, when they tell you to create a budget, they tell you to put that first. I choose to put it last because that number is the most irrelevant number, in my opinion. What you spend your money on, I believe, to be more important than how much you make. People are making $10,000 a month and are still living paycheck to paycheck and are broke. And some people are making $2,000 a month but are living well below their means and are actually very financially stable. So that's why I get you to write that last. So now that you have all your fixed expenses, your flexible expenses written down on the same piece of paper, at the top write how much money you make. So after you do this, take how much money you make, subtract your fixed expenses, then below all your fixed expenses, write that amount. So if you're making $3,000 a month after taxes, your fixed expenses are $2,000 a month. 3,000 minus 2,000, you're going to write $1,000 under fixed expenses. So what that means is now you have $1,000 a month for your flexible expenses and your savings. So this is where it gets a little bit more unique per person. Someone who's more determined to achieve stronger, higher future financial goals, they may want to save 50% of that 1,000 or 40% or 30%, like a higher amount. For someone who's just starting, who may believe that 50% is crazy, there's no way I could only live my flexible expenses to $500 a month. That's unattainable, which I understand. You don't have to go that extreme yet. Start small. Of that $1,000, dedicate, like I said, $100 of that $1,000 to saving, to investing. Treat it like a fixed expense. So now, automatically, just from creating this budget, you are now saving an extra $100 a month for your future. Just from having this personal budget, seeing it on paper right in front of you, writing it out. That's the best first step that everyone should achieve and do. This is a goal that everyone should set and achieve for sure in 2020, is to create a personalized budget, unique for them. Pen and paper, you can type on your computer, you can do whatever you want. There's a bunch of free apps, budgeting apps that you can use, spending apps, spending trackers, so forth. You don't need all those if you don't want them. Keep it old school, pen and paper, write them all down, figure out how much you make, subtract how much your fixed expenses are, and determine what's left for your flexible expenses. The second goal that you should achieve in 2020 is to save more money. I understand this ties into what I just said about creating a personal budget, but that's why I put the budgeting first. Save more money is one step above creating a budget. So use the same example that I just did for creating a budget. You had $1,000 left over for your flexible expenses, and every single month you choose to dedicate $100 of that to investing and saving, no matter what. So now you're left with $900 for your flexible expenses. This is where save more money kicks in. Don't set your fundamental automatic savings too high for that $100, because if you set it at $500, and then in your second month of 2020 in February, if you fail because you spent too much money because you're not used to saving that large amount, there you go. You're already going to be off track. You're going to be unmotivated to keep going. Don't do that to yourself. Set the goal not too low, but set it realistic. You have to understand yourself and your personal situation. Be realistic. If you believe that you have $1,000 for your flexible expenses, but you can actually live off $800 for your flexible, and you believe you can consistently throughout the entire year in the future save that $200, then set that as your goal. So now for financial goal number 2 in 2020, save more money. Now for that leftover $800, that's where you save more. So now you have to make conscious decisions throughout the month to think, I'm automatically investing or saving $200. So now with my $800, do I really need to spend all $800 this month, or am I wasting it on unnecessary spending? So the first tip right there is cut back on unnecessary spending. So even if you have money left over in $800, you don't have to burn all through all $800 in this 1 month. You can spend less. That's the whole point of creating this budget. You have your personal budget. You already know what you're allocating to each spending item each month. But now with your leftover money, if it doesn't need to be spent, don't spend it. So cut back on unnecessary spending if you need to. Things like eating out. Some people believe in the don't buy a coffee, invest $5 a day will be enough to fund your retirement. That's whole other topic. But just make small conscious decisions. Do you really need the new t-shirt for $30 when you already have 10 t-shirts that look the same thing? Who knows? Do you really need to pay full price for something if something a little bit similar is actually on sale? You have to make little small conscious decisions that will help you save more money each month. Another thing with the save more money, the next tip is set up automatic transfers to your savings account or investing account, whatever it may be. Almost every bank right now in the world, US, Canada, international, they give the option to set up an automatic savings where you can set it where the day your paycheck hits your bank account, instantly the money gets put, whatever amount you set gets put into your savings account. So by the time you log into your app on your phone, your desktop, whatever, and you check your bank account, that money's already gone and saved. You don't even see it. You don't see it, you can't spend it. That's the common philosophy when you're creating a personal finance budget. So to save more money, just set up the automatic transfer. It takes your work out of it. You don't have to think about it. Out of sight, out of mind. You're getting closer to financial goals every month without you even seeing it. Third little tip for save more money, increase your 401k, RRSP, or TFSA contributions. This one is a little bit different. If you're already determined to save $200 a month, that was part of your personal budget, you're at to save more money, and this month you actually had to spend all $800, so you're really only left with the $200 at the end of the month. If before this personal budget you were investing nothing into your 401k, I personally believe throw the $200 in there for the tax benefits, and it will make you more motivated to keep going in your future. So just increase the contribution. So instead of just keeping in a saving account in your bank that's earning you no money, or your high interest saving account, which might be keeping up with inflation if inflation stays around 2%, increase the contributions into any retirement account of your choice. I just listed 3, an American and some Canadian accounts. Again, it does not really matter to me. Everyone has their own unique situation. Do whatever feels best for you. Save that money wherever you can. So that's goal number 2 that I want you to achieve. Save more money. Sounds very simple. It's actually very difficult. And what you really need to do is just make conscious decisions whenever you're out spending, whenever you're out shopping, eating. Make smarter decisions. $1 saved is $1 earned. So just save a little bit more money here and there, and you'll really thank yourself in the long run. My third goal I want everyone to achieve in 2020, a big financial goal for a lot of people, is pay off a credit card entirely. I am a believer in only having 1 or 2 credit cards. I don't believe in the people who have 6 different cards unless they're using the points and they're actually managing it properly. Then good for them, let them use all 6. But for someone who isn't a financial expert yet, who doesn't understand the power and the consequences of credit cards, I believe in only having 1, maybe 2 credit cards at all times. And always, always, always pay off your credit card entirely. So even if you have a small balance, a big goal for financial goal in 2020 is to pay off your credit card entirely. Interest rates on credit cards are ridiculous. They range from 15 to 30%, some higher, some you obviously can get deals where it is lower, but overall, credit card debt, credit card interest is crazy. Make sure you pay off your credit card debts entirely in 2020. Don't carry any balances. Don't pay only the minimum balance. That's my first tip. Make more than the minimum payment. If you're just making the minimum payment each month, you are paying interest. You are paying lots of interest over the months it takes you to pay off that balance entirely. Make more than the minimum payment. That is the only way. That's the only time I give you permission that I agree with not investing or not saving your set amount each month. If you have a large credit card balance outstanding, pay that off instantly. Pay that off first. Because if you think about it, if you have a $1,000 credit card balance outstanding, earning 20% interest rate for the credit card company, you're paying 20%. Once you pay that off, you are essentially earning a 20% rate of return instantly. On average, the stock market over 100 years only returns 8 to 9% a year. So instant 20% return is crazy. Some people may not agree with what I just said. I'm a believer in that theory. I really think it helps people visualize and allows them to pay off if they believe that way, if they have that way of thinking. So make more than the minimum payment, make as much of the payment as possible, and really try to pay off that credit card as fast and in most sustainable way as possible. Tip number 2, this should be common sense, but I'm going to throw it in there because some people may need it. Don't spend any more money on credit. Let me say that again. Don't spend any more money on credit. If you are in credit card debt, cut up your card, throw it in the freezer, shred it. I do not care. If you are in large credit card debt, do not spend any more money on credit. If you don't have the money now, I'm sorry, you cannot afford it. You probably already cannot afford it because you have so much debt. Use cash or use your debit card because that means you have to have the money in order to make the purchase. Don't spend any more money on credit when you're trying to pay off your credit card balance in 2020. Third tip, this one is very common for most people. Some people have a different strategy when it comes to paying off credit card debts. I believe in paying the highest interest rate off first. Ties back to my previous example of you getting the instant 20% return. If one credit card is charging you 20% interest, another one's charging you 10, another one's charging you 5, most likely I recommend, in most cases, paying off the 20% interest rate first. Just reduces the amount of interest you pay over the long run, getting rid of the high interest card first. Last and final tip for this one. This tip really goes with everything. Only spend the money you make. You have to spend the money you earn. You can't be spending more than that. A lot of people don't understand that. Even if you're making $3,000 a month, Most credit card companies will give you a credit limit of $5,000. They want you to spend money on their card because that's how they make money. But if you do not have the money coming in, you cannot be spending it. It's not free money. You owe it. It's someone else's money. It's not a gift to you. So you really can only spend the money you make. And for most people, they don't realize that at first. Those are the people who get into the credit card debt, which is fine. No one's judging you. You just have to work your way out of it. So only spend the money you make. It may be difficult. It may take a lot of self-reflection, self-thought, but that's what has to happen. So everyone, those are my 3 financial goals I want you to achieve in 2020. I want you to create a personalized budget. I need you to save more money, and I want you to pay off a credit card entirely. If you have a budget, if you're saving every money and you're making conscious decisions when shopping, and you have no credit card debt at all, you are on your way to creating a very wealthy future for yourself. You're going to do very well financially. You'll become financially stable in the future, and that's great. It's great to wake up in the morning, not have to worry about money. Is money coming in? Do I have enough money to survive? It's a great feeling. Makes you very calm inside. You don't have to stress out for anything. If minor expenses come up unexpectedly, you have the funds to cover it because you're living within your means. It's great. So those are 3 basic financial goals I want you to achieve in 2020. Don't stress if you can't do them all. Don't stress if you can only create a budget, and you just work your best at it. If you can't pay off your debt entirely in 2020, that's okay. Pay as much as you can. Work towards it. Paying off most of it is better than paying off none of it, or even half is better than 0, right? Progress is everything. Slow progress is better than no progress. So as long as you keep working towards your goals, you will achieve it. I believe in everyone. I believe everyone can be financially wealthy, financially successful, live a happy life. So these are just 3 goals I set for everyone in 2020. Good luck. I hope you can achieve them.